I discovered my brother was dating my ex-girlfriend. I never imagined that the person who would betray me the most wasn't a stranger or even a close friend. It was my own brother. For context, my name is Daniel. I'm 27 years old, and 2 years ago I went through a breakup that completely shattered me. I had been dating a girl named Emily for almost 3 years. She wasn't just my girlfriend, she was my first serious relationship, the person I thought I could build a future with. We met in college, and from the very beginning, it felt like we were inseparable. I introduced her to my family early on because I wanted her to be a part of my life in every way. Emily had this way of winning people over quickly. My parents adored her, my friends thought she was great, and even my younger brother, Adam, seemed to like her. Back then, I didn't think much of it. I mean, it was normal. Everyone who met Emily liked her. She was funny, smart, and had a kind smile. But everything changed when our relationship started to fall apart. Emily and I began to argue more often. At first, it was little things, me working late, her feeling like I wasn't giving her enough attention. But over time, those small arguments turned into big fights. She accused me of being distant, while I felt like she was becoming colder toward me. Deep down, I could sense she was pulling away, but I didn't want to accept it. I kept telling myself that relationships go through ups and downs and that we just had to push through. The breakup came suddenly. One night, after another argument, Emily looked me in the eyes and said, "I don't think this is working anymore." I remember feeling like the ground had been ripped out from under me. Just like that, 3 years ended in a single conversation. The weeks after were brutal. I tried to keep myself busy with work, but every time I came home, I felt the weight of her absence. My brother Adam was there for me. At least, that's what I thought. He'd check on me, ask how I was doing, even encourage me to go out and meet new people. It felt good to know he had my back. But there were little things I didn't notice at the time. Adam would sometimes disappear for hours without saying where he was going. When I asked, he'd brush it off with excuses like, just hanging out with friends, or went to the gym. I didn't think much of it. He was my brother. I trusted him. Until one night, about 2 months after my breakup, I saw something that made my stomach drop. I was driving back from work when I stopped at a red light near a small cafe. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw two people sitting at one of the outdoor tables. At first, I didn't pay attention, but then I recognized the laugh. It was Emily's. I turned to look, and there she was, sitting across from my brother Adam. And they weren't just having coffee. He was leaning in close, smiling in a way I hadn't seen in years, and she was looking at him like he was the only person in the world. My chest tightened, my hands froze on the steering wheel, and for a moment, I couldn't breathe. My brother, with my ex-girlfriend. I don't even remember how I drove home that night. My hands were shaking so badly that I almost pulled over. My heart was pounding in my chest, and my mind kept replaying the image of Adam and Emily laughing together at that cafe. At first, I told myself maybe I was overreacting. Maybe it wasn't what it looked like. Maybe they had just run into each other, and I was reading too much into it. But the way they looked at each other, it wasn't casual. It wasn't friendly. It was intimate. When I got home, Adam was already there. He was sitting on the couch, scrolling through his phone like nothing had happened. I wanted to confront him right then and there, but my voice caught in my throat. Instead, I just walked past him, muttering a quick, "Hey." He glanced up, gave me a casual nod, and went back to his screen. For the next few days, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Every time Adam left the house, I wondered if he was with her. Every time he smiled at his phone, I wondered if it was Emily on the other end. The thought consumed me. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. One night, when Adam came back home late, I waited for him in the living room. He walked in, surprised to see me still awake. "Where were you?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. He shrugged. "Just out with some friends." I stared at him. "Were you with Emily?" The way his face froze told me everything I needed to know. He didn't answer right away, just looked at me like he was caught between lying and telling the truth. Finally, he sighed. "Dan, I didn't mean for you to find out like this." My stomach dropped. That was it. Confirmation. "You're serious?" I said, my voice breaking. "You're actually dating her?" Adam ran a hand through his hair, looking guilty but also defensive. It just happened, okay? We started talking after you two broke up. I didn't plan for this, but I really like her, and she likes me too. His words felt like knives. My own brother. Of all the women in the world, he chose her. You knew how much she meant to me, I said, my voice trembling with anger. You knew how destroyed I was after the breakup, and while I was picking up the pieces, you were what, going behind my back with her? It wasn't like that, he shot back. We didn't start talking until after you broke up. I didn't steal her from you. But to me, it didn't matter. Betrayal doesn't always come from timing, it comes from the choice. And Adam chose Emily, knowing full well the pain it would cause me. I stood there in silence, my chest heavy, my eyes burning. My brother, my flesh and blood. He was supposed to have my back, and instead, he stabbed me in it. In that moment, I didn't even know who to hate more. Emily, for moving on so quickly with someone so close to me, or Adam, for breaking the one bond I thought was unbreakable. After that night, things between Adam and me were never the same. We used to be inseparable, playing video games together, grabbing late-night food runs, even covering for each other when one of us messed up. But now, every time I looked at him, all I could see was betrayal. For days, I avoided him. I kept my distance, barely spoke a word, and when I did, my tone was cold, sharp. He tried to explain himself a few times, but I wasn't ready to hear it. Because no matter how he spun the story, it all came back to the same point. He had crossed a line you don't cross. Then came the worst part, seeing Emily again. One afternoon, Adam brought her over to the house. I wasn't expecting it. I came downstairs to grab a drink, and there she was, sitting on the same couch we used to share when we were together. My heart dropped. She looked up at me, guilty, uncomfortable, but not enough to leave. "Hi, Dan," she said softly. I didn't answer. I just stared at her, then at Adam, and walked back upstairs. My hands were shaking so badly I nearly dropped the glass I was holding. Later that night, Adam knocked on my door. "You can't keep ignoring this," he said. "Emily and we're serious. I want you to at least try to accept it." I laughed bitterly. "Accept it? You want me to accept that my brother is dating my ex-girlfriend? The same girl I thought I'd marry someday? Are you insane?" He flinched, but he didn't back down. "I didn't choose for this to happen, but it did. I can't change the fact that I love her." That word, love, cut me deeper than I thought possible. For weeks, I wrestled with what to do. Part of me wanted to cut them both out of my life completely, to never speak to either of them again. But another part of me, the part that still loved my brother, hated the thought of losing him forever. The truth is, betrayal doesn't come with a simple solution. It leaves scars that don't fade. Eventually, I realized something. Emily had already chosen to leave me once. She wasn't mine anymore, and she never would be. But Adam, he was still my brother. And as much as I hated what he did, I couldn't erase the fact that he was family. We're not the same as we used to be. The trust we had is shattered, and I don't know if it will ever fully return. But little by little, I've tried to move forward. I've tried to remind myself that his choices don't define me. As for Emily, she's just a ghost now, a painful memory tied to a betrayal I'll never forget. And maybe that's the cruelest part of all. Sometimes it's not strangers who break your heart. It's the people you thought you could trust the most.
If this story kept you hooked until the very end, don't forget to subscribe to Storybar, give this video a like, share it with your friends, and leave a comment below. Your support helps us bring you even more stories full of drama, betrayal, love, and life-changing decisions. Don't miss the next one.